that Ancestor Healing coming in, or even a better engage, or even some hook sitting from Rimmer, I could see a world where Trick Esports gets the victory. Things just didn't fully pan out the way they wanted it to.
Talking about the hooks is actually another point, because I think we not only need to talk about Rimmer Baller here, we need to talk about how Dignitas played around the hook. They always had at the front. They basically had JPL always in a position where he was willing to eat the hook, since he knows he can move out. There's a Tazadar with a shield that can help him if really need be, and also Bakery was always ready for that cleanse as a follow-up, so they just kept everyone far back. That made it difficult for them to counter-poke, and they had to take a lot of damage on the Immortal, but Dignitas had the patience to make that play. And then once they knew that the hook was down, they were looking for a target and were trying to get the engage, and usually got it and got a kill. So from their perspective, that was fantastic play. Well thought out, very disciplined, and also very, very patient. And that's a patience a lot of teams don't have. Will go in a little bit too eagerly, all of a sudden lose a hero and then fall. Not so Dignitas. They played this perfect.
Well, speaking about supports here, we're going to go ahead and take an ideal look at Nape and, of course, Bakery, the supports here for both of our teams, and just check out their stats. Right now, in terms of takedowns, Nape has been an aggressive player. And in fact, that aggressive play in this game kind of hurt him in the early game. You see the takedowns up there, but looking at these heals, you can see why both these teams can be such a great contribution to their victories.
The aggressive style of Nape, you see it at the kill participation at 93%. Higher than Bakery. The same also on the KDA. In this game, it backfired against him a bit, because he just died too often in the early stages. And the early game kills, it's nothing that really just is too crazy. You're still able to bounce back from it. But then later on, having those few, just that brain fart moment where he just doesn't get the heal through, it was weird. It was, I can only imagine it was a bit of a problem with communication.
Sure.
They've been talking about this a bit. That, for example, someone called for the Ancestral just as he was about to answer. Maybe it was Alex asking for an Ancestral on the Chen just as Knappe was about to Ancestral Li Ming. He hesitates for a second. In the meantime, Li Ming is down. Then he turns back to Chen. Chen is also dead. So it's just one of those moments where it's just like,
I want to heal you both, but I can't.
Exactly.
Yeah, make a decision go in.
Stuff like that just happens. It was just unfortunate for them that it happened in this particular situation. But overall, Trick played a great match here, had a lot of aggression coming out of them, which is exactly what they need against Dignitas, trying to throw them off their game. But Dignitas looking good.
Looking good, and we're going to go to game number 2 and see if they continue to look good, or if Trick Esports will answer back and tie up the series. And I honestly hope so, man. I've been missing these best-of-5 series between both our teams going all the way to game number 5. And Dignitas will go ahead and pick up Cursed Hollow, as Trick Esports will elect to take first pick.
And as we said before, with so far Trick not taking a single map, there is still a scenario in the room in which we are going to have a massive 3-way tie. That is still a possibility. And also, guys, keep in mind, when we're talking about today, it's all about the Western Clash. And when it's about the Western Clash, we're only talking about the number 2 and the number 3 spot. Fnatic is already secure. Nothing can happen to them. They are at the Western Clash. They look dominant this season. But we are looking at the 4 teams that are fighting over the 2 remaining spots at the offline event.
Yeah, and for you people that might be joining us now, those 4 teams that are currently looking at getting that slot, it's going to be Trick Esports, Expert, it's going to be Dignitas, and of course Team Liquid, all fighting for the spots. Right now, if you look at the standings, excluding the games that have happened already today, it's Trick Esports and Expert that are on their way in the driver's seat, that if they get victories, they get the number 2 and 3 slot. Dignitas and Team Liquid are the ones fighting for the victories to have a chance at getting those slots.
Exactly. So everything is on the line here, especially for Dignitas, and they made a first step already. In an ideal world, they are now taking a 3-0 here, but they still have to rely heavily on Team Liquid not beating Expert.
Okay, let's get this started here. Game number 2. Dignitas in the lead 1-0, and we are on Cursed Hollow. Things you have to worry about: Globals, Falstad, Dahaka. Dahaka in particular for both of these teams. And of course, there's always that pesky slug floating around, Abathur.
Yeah, Abathur, always him. Abathur is a really good pick here as well. I mean, we see teams that pick Vikings on this map too. I'm talking about our little slugger and he gets taken out. My question is Genji. Is Dignitas respecting? Yes, they are. They respect Make enough that they just ban Genji once again.
I mean, Make is good on certain heroes, but you see him on Genji, he literally changes the pace of the game sometimes.
There's a difference between being solid on a hero and excelling on him to an extent where you can completely change the flow of an entire game. And that's exactly what Make brings to Genji. So I'm not surprised that Dignitas on the last map and this map just simply says, you know what, we just ban that one hero out and we can deal with everything else. As long as we don't have to go up against that, we're fine. And in this case, they are willing to give Uther up. They are saying, hey, Uther, great heals, great stuns, still doesn't matter. Take him as long as you don't have your Genji, be okay with it.
And we'll see here now if the new Dignitas continues here, if we're going to get that Tassadar more often, continue picking him up as he is available. Will we get that Nubrak? Nubrak was a little bit on the later stages of game number 1. Obviously, we mentioned with this new patch coming out, the Stukov patch, Nubrak is slightly hindered to what he used to be. A little bit of the changes here, so we'll see what Dignitas wants to grab.
All right, let's see. We currently have Dignitas really thinking hard about what they're going to pick here right now. I mean, you're on Cursed Hollow, so at this point, the Greymane, okay, again, and a Brightwing, high priority on Brightwing,
yeah.
Having the global. The Greymane doesn't really surprise. A Greymane pick on this map is always good. You have a lot of potential with blow-up comms, you have the wave clear. He's a fantastic hero, very versatile. But the Brightwing priority is very interesting.
We saw Dignitas pull a lot of Brightwing off last week, and they mentioned in the interview that Brightwing would be something they are focusing on more and more. I thought maybe because they weren't facing top-tier teams or putting it all on the line, that maybe for a chance we just got more Brightwing because they wanted to be able to pull him out, but they seem to really believe in the power of what Brightwing can bring to the compositions. That global strength, always wonderful if you want to get that side split pushing, and also the ability to come in and change a fight to a 2v1.
Normally, we of course see that with the double support, so there's definitely a chance that Dignitas is going to look towards that again, which could also change the way that Tricked is now starting their own draft, so that can definitely have an impact. Do you let Tassadar, for example, go through? Do you think it's another threat? Do you pick him for yourself? Do you ban him out and sacrifice your second ban? There's a lot of things that Tricked with this has now to think about. And ooh, they are going into a macro game here. They pick the double global immediately. Now Brightwing, of course, is a hero that has global mobility, but she's also a bit on the pseudo-global side, since she cannot simply just jump on another lane. She needs a target.
So we're going to get the Dahaka and the Falstad here. Now, we've seen this a couple times with Tricked Esports. Both times that I've seen it, not fully impressed with the Make Falstad, but still one that he's been doing a decent job on. However, I will say, every single week that we've seen the Falstad, it's looked a little bit better here. So hopefully now it's good enough that they can handle Dignitas. We need those rotations to come in. They have to be proper, and the Mighty Gus in particular have to land at pivotal moments. If they don't, I can see Dignitas just punishing heavily.
Yeah, and Dignitas, talking about them, are now on the next ban, and they can still ban that front line. There's a main tank that misses for Trick, so they need to consider what they want to get rid of here. And also a second damage dealer. Trick still needs a high-level damage dealer, and it looks very much as if that's going to be Crosby's hero. So a Li Ming, Gul'dan could be banned out here. But instead they go for the Nubarak, trying to deny the value to Trick, as they themselves are not having any plans of picking them.
I like the Medivh ban. If you are facing off against double global, Medivh can get you out of a fight in a cinch with no problems whatsoever, and you force that Brush Sucker cooldown or that Fly cooldown to be completely wasted if the Medivh's nearby. So good pickup and ban there. Stitches will be the pickup for Dignitas, so we're getting JPL Stitches once again. It's been a while.
Is it time to hook Bakery?
It's time to hook Bakery. Okay. You brought it back. Nice.
The JPL special. Getting the hooks in, Greymane with a follow-up. Similar strategy to what we saw from Tricked on the last map. Also really good around the tributes here, of course. But let's see what the next pick is going to be. The question that we still have to answer is, what will we see for Mane here? Since he has been starting to go more into the specialist and second support role if the team needed it. But in this map, with the additional poke, I could see him on the Li Ming maybe even. But first of all, we are seeing Sonya taken here.
Sonya for that top lane. Matching against Dahaka when possible, can win in a majority of the match it's going to be in. I mean, look at what Dahaka and Falstad being available for Tricked Esports. Sonya can win those lanes pretty easily no matter what, so good pickup for Dig.
So, do you go for Li Ming here for Crosby, or do you play around Gul'dan? I think Li Ming would definitely help them a lot with the fights around the tribute, and if they get the Dragon, that would be okay. They have a lot of stun setups already with Uther being in the play. It is Gul'dan over the Li Ming, and we have Diablo taken at that front. Okay, so Diablo has to be a bit careful. Greymane is going to try and chunk him down hard, but if you keep your soul stacks, then of course he is going to have a pretty solid situation there. And there's a lot of room for you to get stuns in with a good shadow charge, and then following it up with either Dahaka or Uther.
Yeah, Tricked Esports has a very comfortable lineup for them, one that we've been seeing in the past pretty often. The only question mark for me is Make's Falstad. I think it will be the changer here for both of our teams, the deciding factor. Dignitas on the right, going to be finishing up their 5th pickup. Will they be running that solo support Brightwing or moving into double support as you were mentioning earlier? Or do we get to see our boy, Li Ying, or something played here from Mane?
It's interesting how long they wait for that particular pickup here. So right now, if they go, like Li Ming is a hero that you would expect for Mane. It's something that he's really strong with. It allows you to interrupt any kind of tribute that is being channeled. Yeah. And of course, you have then the reset value. But it also means that you are running Brightwing solo. So it seems to me more and more as if that ban against especially Medivh was absolutely right on the money.
Yeah, well, Rhaegar will be the final pickup for Dignitas, having that front line to be Stitches and Sonya just really just beating down on their opponents when they get into the engages. And Dignitas, if they get the engages they want, they can pick off anyone on the opposing side, even that Diablo with Greymane being here for that Cursed Bullet. So we'll see if they can get the fights they want.
I really think that with the way this draft went and also how long they in the last pick, I think that Medivh ban was exactly
pivotal.
Exactly what Dignitas want to go for. They want. It looked to me as if they wanted to go for Medivh here, and yeah, they just got shut down by Trick. So at this point, it's this weird thought because you have already a healer, it's Brightwing, and in this situation, if you have the Medivh on top of that, you're basically golden. We've seen Mane dabble in the hero, and then you have just basically him heading for last hero, and your question is still, okay, do I go for Li Ming? That fits our composition perfectly, but the big problem is then we run a Brightwing as a solo heal, and no team is really too confident doing that, maybe with the exception of Fnatic with a full global comp. So normally when you see Brightwing, you have either Medivh, Tassadar, you have some second healer. So at this point, they needed to adjust a little bit and say like, if we can't pick, let's say, Li Ming here, then we have to go into a second healer. So we need to put Mane onto Brightwing. That's where I would expect him in this game once again. But that's pretty interesting dynamic for the later part of the draft.
Yeah, I think it really worked twofold here, too, for Trick Esports. With you having that golden, if you have to Horrify, is the least amount of stuff that you want to run to afterwards. The Leyline Seal coming your way, of course, those Force of Wills keeping Medivh alive. So Medivh overall is a great ban here for Trick Esports. And then going into the Battleground, I actually think I lean towards Trick Esports slightly here. I think Dignitas kind of has to rely on the hooks, which, again, it is JPL, man. He's the hook master when it comes down to it. But I think Trick Esports, if they're able to coordinate, isolate, use double globals effectively, they got a great draft.
Yeah, the Diablo stuns alone is something that I'm watching out for because there's a lot of follow-up for that. So I think around those skills and with all the CC that they have a great opportunity to get early kills in the fights and then take it from there.
Well, game 2. Let's see if Trick Esports can tie it up against Dignitas here. Both teams looking to go to the Western Clash, and it's going to be a best-of-5 series. Here we go.
Game number 2, ladies and gentlemen. We are going in with the left side. Tricked Esports going up against Team Dignitas. And at this point, we have Dignitas in the lead as Knappe starts on Uther, Alex on Dehaka, Rema on Diablo, Maka on Falstad, and Crosby on Gul'dan.
On the right side, in the red, Dignitas here. Mane playing Brightwing, Bakery on Rhaegar, Snitch on Greymane, JPL back on his boy Stitches, and Zalia will be playing Sonya.
Mane on the Brightwing, as we expected here, so they run the double support once again. They were a little bit more flexible, this time with an early Brightwing pick, but now we have Mane back on the second support role with Rhaegar running the main show. And in the meantime, we have Falstad going into the Gathering Storm here, trying to make sure that they get that extra burst damage. And that just caters a little bit more to isolation, getting stuns in, stun chains, and then of course Falstad plus Gul'dan dropping their spells.
Helping with a wave clear too as well. Been running a little bit more hammering myself on the Falstad, really been enjoying it, especially against Stitches. When I was running Season Marksman, I felt like I gave opportunities for Stitches to grab hooks on me or my opponents the longer I worked on those auto attacks, even with the Giant Killer. Hammering gives me the ability to come in, get some damage if, float around and play safer, but still do a decent job in team fights. So I love that hammering build, been seeing more of it lately, especially here in Europe.
So Lightning Bond taken on the side of Rhaegar, and at the same time now there's great wave clear for them. They also have with the talent the opportunity to, with their frontline and Sonya, get a lot of pressure in the fights and just the extra AoE.
Alex the Prodigy playing a bit aggressive here, checking outside the bush, and Zalia, he thinks something up. He hasn't seen two people on the field for a few seconds now. He's going to go ahead and keep floating around, but I love how patient he is being. Alex the Prodigy not able to land that drag as it goes back to lane clearing. I think it's kind of like really revealing that this is going to be a gank because he's not clearing out that lane. Typically he would.
Nice.
Gets hooked though in the middle, and JPL shows why he's the one that hooks.
Exactly. the one that hooks, and he does it once more. So great hook by him. Rema Baller there, not going for the stun, gets the domination in, but no more than that. Was trying to, of course, save Falstad. But overall, they didn't, well, as I want to say, they didn't lose too much because they still had someone to soak the experience. One tower goes down and the second one is about to fall. But this could be the isolation they were hoping for earlier. JPL gets body blocked into oblivion and should fall here, is still alive. Yeah. Brightwing wants to come in, a bit too late though, and maybe Greymane is also going to go down.
Oh man, that was scary for a second. Rimmer actually had the amazing body block, but he tried to feint and body block Stitches from coming out.
Snitch did not get stunned after that shadow charge, did he?
No, he slid across the gate, oddly enough.
Yeah, that was a bit weird. I really thought that would result in him getting a stun. That would have been definitely a kill. But as he does not get stunned, the angle not being good enough, he instead is now still alive. We have 1 kill on each side, and still, of course, now with the level 4 talents, also a bit more mage build talents coming in on Falstad.
Yep, getting that storm, the lightning storm there. Level 4, going to be able to grab the shield whenever he drops it on an opponent. Great against Greymane and Sonya, those members that will be diving you when they have the chance. Make's in here, already on top of the tribute, hoping to channel, and JPL interrupts with a hook.
JPL gets the interrupt here, and also, of course, putting the pressure on the Make again, but the tribute still ends up in the hands of Trick Esports.
Trick gonna be happy with that. With them having double globals and them grabbing that first tribute right away, they realize they're in a good spot, can continue soaking their experience here. They're even moving over to start grabbing their giant to have that top lane pushy in case there's going to be a tribute to spawn at the bottom. But with double globals being available, Dignitas says, okay, we're not in a spot to grab this. Everyone's already up here for Trick Esports. Let's give it away and we'll work on mercenary camps and soaking. Okay, so Giant still being grabbed here on the left side, and that will allow Rimmer and Nappe to get that push going. Looking at the build, still looks like it's that facial build here from the Brightwing that seems to be a staple. That peekaboo, always wonderful, right when a tribute spawn. You want to be able to see those bushes coming your way.
Yeah, exactly. Vision is absolutely crucial. And interestingly enough, we also have Greymane working on the right side at the night camp already. And this is a really cool timing that we usually don't see. Oftentimes, you see teams not committing to the night since it can also be invaded. But Dignitas now has another camp pushing in the mid lane. So the longer they stall out a potential fight, the better for them. Make finds himself in a bit of trouble as Brightwing starts to commit and helps out Zelia. It looked like a kill in favor of Team Trick Esports, but as Brightwing starts to join the fight, Sonya is safe. But it's all about that tribute channel up here at the top, because the camp is already in the middle, and the only thing that Dignitas has to do is go for interrupts.
And this is the great thing about 2 globals versus 1. Dahaka actually came into the top lane and put pressure on that Greymane, and now Trick Esports in a spot where they have 3 people on the top, and Brightwing using her Fade Shield shift to go to the bottom lane is only 1 global will be for them. So now Trick Esports, using basic math, like math gods here, are able to get a tribute.
So they get the tribute, and this is the second one, but they sacrificed a lot of position in the mid lane that got pushed out by the night camp and also pushed, of course, the wall itself in. So that hurt quite a bit. That makes the mid lane very weak. The fountain is down, most of the ammunition is already drained, the gate is gone, and that hurt. So Dignitas might not have gotten the tribute, but they are ahead in experience, and they actually had a decent spot here structure-wise. The question remains, is Trick able to grab the 3rd tribute with maybe a level 10?
Yeah, I think it's pretty redeemable here. They should be able to get to the 3rd tribute in time. It should spawn right before Dignitas is hitting level 10, so if they force a fight right away and get everyone down there, it could be a spot where they get the curse and also hit 10 themselves. They also have the chance to just give it away, because they have the 2 out of 3 already set up. And here it is, curse spawning on the bottom right, and it's only 9 1/3 of experience here for Dignitas.
Yeah, Dignitas needs a lot of XP if they want to hit the level 10, and they have to fight over this one. So this is where Trick can really start to get a bit of a lead, especially since they still have Dehaka up to the top. Alrighty, talking Dehaka, here comes Zelia, they attack him. Trick doesn't even try to interrupt, so they just give the tribute up. They're happy to do that. I'm still thinking a little bit about if they could have maybe set someone up to at least get 1 or 2 interrupts, but I guess with Stitches being around at the tribute area, it's a bit too risky for them to send a single hero while the rest soaks. So instead, Trick is just pushing through the mid lane, has Dehaka up at the top, and will hit an early level 10 thanks to this tower falling in a moment.
And this is the problem with them not interrupting that tribute on the bottom right, is Dignitas will be 10-2. Zelia comes in for a big flank. They find Make. Make gets hit with a spear and then a hook. He gets focused down, and Falstad is out of the fight.
Falstad out of the fight here, and we have Nappe going into the Divine Storm, so no Divine Shield in this situation. He picked it also a bit late, but it's a kill against Falstad, takes a bit of pressure away from Dignitas, as we had also, of course, Dehaka in the middle then. But the boss that is being taken here by Dignitas could give them a bit of an edge. Trick, on the other hand, reacting immediately and focusing on their own boss. It's just a matter of timing if they're going to be fast enough for this one.
Should be fast enough. If not, though, they will be in a world of hurt, as Gus was used by Make as he was picked up. 20 seconds until it's not back. Dignitas is already making a ploy here to move in the middle lane and start pushing it out. It would appear they're not heading straight to the bottom boss, so as they're going to go ahead and just grab the experience instead and also set up for this next tribute, which is right to the north of them. Trick eSports will have to go all the way around here to get set up.
Much better scenario for Dignitas. They have already a camp at the bot lane, though, so the boss is going to de-push that a bit. But here, oh, that could be a big one. Nice. Ancestral comes in after the cleanse was already used, so that is a big cooldown burn, but it definitely helped Dig. The interrupt is not there. Bakery, does he get it? No, he doesn't, because the Haka moves in, goes for a quick burrow, already stitches with an immediate ult using the Putrid Bile, and we see Make committing once more to the Gust.
But Crosby is low. Make had to use the Mighty Gust to help out with the interruption. Dignitas will fight back and grab the tribute. We did have Daka come in and get the rotation and stop the actual tribute from being channeled, but he was low on health and had to use his essence.
Yeah, it was a bit of a weird scenario here where Diablo didn't commit to an Apocalypse. We didn't see the stuns coming out from Uther, mainly also because they knew that there was still Brightwing's own ult out, the Emerald Wind, for a potential disengage here. Tricked has good tools, but Dignitas is currently really the team that is making the better decisions. They have only one additional kill. They're seeing a level lead though for Dignitas. They are at level 12, as Tricked is only level 11.
Dig really looking for that 3-0, keeping up with the kills here. Get another pick off in the middle as they're able to take out Crosby on that gold dam, so he won't be up for 20 seconds, which is pretty pivotal because the tribute should be spawning soon. In fact, actually, there it is. It just spawned here, and it'll be up in 10 seconds, and gold dam will just be spawning when that tribute becomes available for picking, and that's Curse.
Yeah, exactly. That would be the Curse now, and I think Trick just eats it.
Yep.
Yeah, they don't even engage. They're just saying, like, whatever, we can't deal with it. There's absolutely no way we're going up there and take a fight without Gul'dan. The level 13 talent is another deterrent. So Tricked just saying we have to accept this one and just take it from there then. And that is going to make it pretty rough, because what Dignitas is currently attempting to do is open the top lane up. If they can go through the wall here, they would open the path towards the keep, which makes any boss that they take towards the upper end of the map so much more effective later on.
And that pressure is good too. They're trying to stretch that Falstad a little bit thin here. Falstad will be able to fly a little bit south this area, but not straight into the fight, while Brightwing will be able to phase shift in at any point. So if Falstad flies up, Brightwing can keep pushing in. They're kind of stressing them as much as they can and forcing Trick eSports to clear, while JPL steps forward and starts putting damage on the keep.
They really want that keep if they can get it. Brightwing is already in, Falstad has to fly now, and we still have 24 seconds on the Curse. They are committing to it. The 13 isn't there for Trick. This is why they are so hesitant. They don't have the level 13 talent. Alex is eating damage, missing the Drag here now as well, and this is starting to look really bad for Trick eSports. Dignitas, with all the pressure they have, nearly took down the keep, and they go for the kill. They might even get Remaballer here. The hook hits, it connects, and down he goes.
He'll be able to respawn and be back here in 3 seconds, but it's too late. The keep already falls, and Team Dignitas will use the Curse to get catapult pressure on the top lane and grab a nice 3-level lead. 15 to 12, 13 just now hitting for Trick eSports, and Dignitas looking pretty.
Yeah, they are looking fantastic here. Diablo might be back, but the problem is he more or less died for nothing in this case. He lost all of his souls now, so he is a really weak version of himself. They're 2 levels behind, and they haven't used Divine Storm and Apocalypse once in this game.
Hopefully they'll be able to get off that combo, but it's looking pretty dire. They'll have to make sure they get it in a situation where Cleanse isn't available and Emerald Wind doesn't ruin their entire combo, and Team Dignitas right now is just not giving them any opportunities. Trick eSports will be working on this middle. Mercenary can't get it pushing. There is still a saving grace. Remember, they do have 2 out of 3 tributes. If they're able to get one and get a team fight, they can definitely start to fight their way back, but they have yet to break down a single fort of their opponents.
If they get a Curse, I don't think it's going to be a big problem for them, but overall, their window is closing, and it's closing fast.
Yeah.
Dignitas is going to have the level 16 in just half a level, so they have a massive lead in experience, and Tricked needs a fight, and they need it soon. They can't just wait, because Dignitas is making fantastic decisions. They're doing everything right. They forced a keep out of the first Curse that they got after they were behind with 2 tributes. Their play here is absolutely fantastic.
Trick doing everything they can, though, to fight back. working on getting experience with their globals. They have Dahaka in the top. They took the rest of the members and put them in the bottom to break down that fort. So they finally do get their first fort of the game. But with 16 here for Dignitas, it immediately means they have to pull back and play safe while bosses will be spawning soon.
Yeah, and that safe play is going to be an issue because right now this is looking like it's going to be a double boss. Dignitas knows how... Think about how late the last boss was after Dignitas picked up theirs. Dignitas knows that perfectly. So they are going to just simply run down. They have the boss at the top, you have to react to the boss, it's going to go for core, and they can go down now and force the second boss, or at least make sure that Trick doesn't get it. So this scenario for them is great. On the other hand, Trick is now in a position where there's a tribute at the bot lane and the boss, but it's Trick is giving up a lot here to have a potential fight on level 16 talents. They're giving up everything.
They have to, and they're going to. As Falstad pulls back, everyone moves to the top here to clear the boss. If they clear the boss in the top now, they'll be able to manage the boss pushes in the bottom, but you're right, they're going to lose out on that tribute, so that won't be cursed for them. But 16 is, of course, a good saving grace. They can turn around and make plays after that hit 16. They only have their opponent a level ahead of them, so they'll have a couple minutes to dance around and maybe get one more fight around a tribute, which will allow for them to use that Divine Storm, the Apocalypse, to Horrify.
Yeah, they need to coordinate a good fight after level 16 or the game's over. And they know that too. So they could have YOLO'd it a little bit and they decided against it. Instead, they just said, okay guys, we have to wait for 16. Once we have that, we can make a play. But now their second keep is under pressure. And 16 is going to hit any moment. The Haka will get another wave up at the top that should help. And then they, I think, need to force something here.
They have Horrify, so they can force. Always a great spot. You also have the potential to fly in and, of course, drop down the Mighty Gust. You have to watch out for Bribing, though. That Emerald Wind and the Cleanse will be just enough to slow him down. Peekaboo is used to see that Haka flank in, and Alex Aproji, he goes in to force a fight.
The keep is down, the Cleanse is there. I think Trick should have YOLO'd it earlier. I think they should have taken a fight with the talent disadvantage. It's a really uncomfortable fight to take, and it's one that you might lose, but now with them not taking the fight and waiting for 16 to get a fight on even talents, they sacrificed a second keep. They're 2 levels behind and they are 2 keeps down.
But that doesn't matter if you get a good team fight and you get the curse too. I can see their thought process and I see yours too. It's a very hard call to make, and Dignitas is definitely benching them. Helping hand over the wall.
Nice.
JPL
Beautiful.
will save them.
Absolutely beautiful. No, I absolutely agree. It's a tough call to make, and I'm not saying that YOLOing it would have definitely been the right choice, but I think that they just sacrificed too much to get into this scenario. So they need to basically go for the wipe. Okay, here comes Rama Baller. They get the stuns in at least. Can they get the kill? They go for Zelia, and he is still alive. Emerald Wind pushes them back. Diablo is down. And to be absolutely frank, this should nearly be it.
It's looking like it. Maka goes in and starts the channel. Nape does have benediction available for the stuns if it does occur. Mighty Gust being used at the same time. But there's miscommunication. Who grabs the tribute? Are we going to Mighty Gust? Are we going to fight? You can see them dancing around it. And they finally make the call to back up, but they used a lot of resources. Yeah,
they lost. I mean, losing Diablo alone already is a disaster. Not only didn't he have the soul stacks, but yeah. They run into these hooks the entire time. JPL plays it absolutely perfectly. And even in a scenario where they could lock someone down completely, they did not get the kill against Sonya. And that is a massive, massive problem for them right now. So Dignitas is just running the map. They take one camp after another. They have the 2 bosses, they're working towards level 20. It's 5 kills against 1, which in itself is not too crazy. But if you just look at the structural advantage that Dignitas has now, it is out of this world. 2 keeps are already down. The front wall is halfway broken through in the middle, so the last keep could fall as well. And any kind of boss that you take at this point is going to be a problem. Trick needs to wait for the Apocalypse to be up, and then they need to force another fight. It's the only play they have. Try and force fights. Try and get a team vibe. It's the only potential way that you are coming back into this game.
And you were talking about bosses. We actually have one up in about 80 seconds. So what else is going to be here in 80 seconds? Level 20. Also a 3rd curse for both of our teams for this tribute. So here we go. Zelia charges forward. He hits Crosby. Crosby steps forward and drops a Horrify. The Mighty Gusto overlaps it as both our teams are having anti-synergies here. Nape moves in, drops the Divine Storm as well, but Nape is going to fall.
Nape is falling. The catapults are on the core already. Apor comes out, I think, too late, and this is going to be the end of the Haka. This should be game. Catapults are already on the core. With 2 globals in play, they did not clear these lanes enough. Gul'dan is dying. This is a curse. And this is definitely going to be game number 2 in favor of Team Dignitas now. They're moving towards the core. Catapult's already breaking through the shield and just wailing away. We have even another camp moving in. And this is just an easy finish. Perfect play from Dignitas in game number 2. Way more decisive than what we've seen on the first map. So Dignitas taking the 2-0 lead in the series.
Grabbing the fight there right away, and Trick eSports just a little bit off there, especially in that last fight. The Mighty Gus and Horrify coming back on the same targets, blowing each other away using both the heroics, and sadly Trick eSports, they need to get into a spot here to actually compete against Dignitas, because Dignitas is definitely looking for that 3-0. You can tell they want to go to the Western Clash.
I'm actually surprised what we've seen from... when I think Tricked, I usually think more about team fights than I do about the macro play.
Sure.
They committed heavily to double globals, and I don't think they got the value out of it. Even when they were afraid to later on just simply split the globals off because they were afraid of the hooks and the kills, which is absolutely understandable. But Dignitas just outplayed them completely here. So that was a pretty brutal map for Trick, to be honest.
Well, we'll see if Dignitas continues to be brutal here with the Pain Train, as Trick eSports will be going into game number 3 right after this commercial break.